It's starting to rain here at Caffeine and Octane. This is the first time this car has seen rain in 4 decades, which is wild. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sally's Speed Shop. This time we're taking the Javelin and the C20 to a car show up in Atlanta called Caffeine and Octane. This will be the first car show that the Javelin has ever been to as a dedicated race car. And so it's been 40 years since this car was put together and nobody has really gotten to see it. So we're gonna take it and show it off in its current form, just as we found it, as the time capsule that it is. And then we're gonna bring it back to the shop and get started on it. But I got some stuff to get done. I gotta get the truck cleaned up, get the trailer cleaned up, and get the Javelin cleaned up and ready for the show, because they gave us a spot in the vendor area where we're gonna be able to show off the truck and the trailer with the Javelin on the trailer behind the truck. So that's gonna be super cool. Huge thank you to Caffeine and Octane for doing that. So I'm gonna get started getting this thing cleaned up. But first, I'm gonna enjoy some frozen custard from Andy's here in Fayetteville, Georgia, because if you can't take a little time to eat some ice cream, or in this case, frozen custard, you're just too busy. So make time for ice cream every day, or maybe not every day. Always try to make time for ice cream. That's what I should say. Anyway, let's get to work. Just took the truck over to one of the local little coin-op car washes because I really didn't feel like getting the car wash stuff set up in the driveway. And just gonna get this sucker cleaned up a little bit. It's been a long time since I had a bath, and so we're gonna wash it down. Luckily the paint's not super nice, so we can use the brush and we don't gotta worry about scratching it. So we're gonna get this cleaned up and then go hook it up to the trailer and get the Javelin loaded up at the shop. Whew. Here we go. There we go, just like that. The truck is clean, and now we're gonna air dry it by driving it. That's always my go-to answer, just air dry it by driving it. So, one more thing checked off the list for the show in the morning. Ooh, got my e-brake on. Here we go. I didn't get enough sleep last night, and there's still entirely too much to do, but we'll get it done. So here you go, we're in the shop with the Javelin. Moby's hanging out, being a good boy. And I'm gonna do a little bit of work to get this car ready for the show. Gonna wipe it down, clean it up. I might put the headers on the engine just to have that look. I don't know, we'll see. It's kind of unnecessary, but I can't help myself. Gonna clean out the inside of the car a little bit. I might even put our taillights in because that'll complete the back end of this car. Right now, it looks pretty pitiful without the taillights. So I'm gonna get to work, knock out some stuff, and then get this thing loaded up on the trailer and ready to go. And then get a little sleep. Boop. First things first, I'm gonna get this deck lid out of the way so I can see what I'm working with my taillights. No, normally we do this with 2 people, so see how it goes with 1 person. Oh, it's really not bad. As you can see, all the inner structure is removed, so this thing hardly weighs anything. It's pretty nice. So I'm just gonna set this over here. And now I can get to the back side of the taillights and see about putting those suckers in. And get my headers out of the truck. See, these custom headers were made for this car and they're honestly super nice. So shout out to John Dover for doing a great job making these headers. Pretty sweet. All right, now I'm gonna go grab the taillights and we'll see how they fit. So I brought the taillights we got from Joe Bahachik up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Like the guy to know if you need AMC parts. These are really hard to find, and he gave us a full set, including the reverse light. So as you can see, they fit in there pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and toss a couple bolts in these so they don't fall out, but I think they're gonna work. We'll get them cleaned up, get all the dust off of them, and I'll make the back of the car look a lot more complete, that's for sure. Anyway, let's get this put in here and see how it goes. So these just take what I believe is just a 1/4 inch bolt, and there's like 5 of them on each part of the taillight housing. So good bit of bolts holding these in. But there we go, that's the idea. Sweet, I think they're gonna work. All right, let's get the other side in and see what it looks like all together. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this reverse light out of the way and then get this guy slid up in there. They definitely don't fit perfect, but probably gonna be good enough for who it's for. And then this guy somehow slips in here. All right, I'm gonna have to loosen this back up to fit this in, but I think it's gonna work. There we go. Look at that. We got taillights. Once I get these cleaned up, they're gonna look pretty good. Somebody just put a piece of Lexan in the reverse light. Normally it looks a little different, and there is one little crack on this side, but it's not gonna affect the way they work. I'll just glue that back together and we'll be in business. Not too worried about it. That's gonna look killer. Let me get them cleaned up, bolted in, and that does a lot for the back of this car. Boom, just like that. We've got nice taillights in the back of this thing. They're in there solid. I don't have all the bolts in, but I have plenty in there to hold it, so we're gonna be just fine. I'm really glad John left the taillight mounting brackets when he built this car, because that made that super easy. Literally just went right in and looks so much better. So let's get the deck lid put back on and then see what the back end of this car looks like with taillights in it. There we go, deck lid's back on. That looks so much better. Whew! It's amazing what having the right parts does for our car. I'm loving those taillights, they look killer. Right, bud? Pretty good, right? Yeah, I think so too. I dig it. Now, it's time to just clean up the car and get it loaded up. Don't know if I'm gonna put the headers on or not. I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. I'll pull the hood off and see how they slide in there and see if they fit. And if they fit, maybe I'll throw a couple bolts in them so they're on the car and we can show off John Dover's handiwork. God, he built a killer car. This thing is so cool. Oh, and we even have some stickers that can go right here as faux headlights. So might even put those on. They're at the house, so those might have to go on in the morning, but I kind of think they're cool. Kind of a vintage little sealed beam sticker. They literally look like these headlights right here, but it's a sticker that Tony was planning to stick on those pieces of steel that he made for the headlights. It's kind of cool. So let's get this thing cleaned up and ready to get loaded up for Caffeine and Octane in just a few hours. Always cutting it close, down to the last minute. Just my style. I'm a firm believer that if it weren't for the last minute, nothing would ever get done. Don't know if that's good advice, but it's worked for me so far. Got it all cleaned up. It is looking so much better than it did. There are some scratches in the windshield, unfortunately, but I think I'm gonna be redoing this anyway because I don't like seeing the actual like butyl caulking around the outside. So I'll probably make a new windshield, paint it black around the outside so you don't see any of that, and fit it in there a little better. But cleaned up pretty nice, looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna clean out the inside a little bit, wipe down the dash, and load it up on the trailer out there. We'll be good to go. That's a good boy, that's a good boy. So yeah, first time this thing's been cleaned this much in quite some time, I'm sure. Look, the radiator's actually black. Looked gray before. It's an old brass and copper radiator. I wonder what it's out of, or if it's maybe even the original radiator of the car. This car is so freaking awesome. Yep. Making some progress on it. There we go. Car's all cleaned up and ready to get loaded on the trailer. Got the hood back on it. And now it's time to open the garage door, put the ramps in place, and winch this thing up on there. So, gonna get started making that happen. Well, there we go. Javelin is loaded up and ready for the show in the morning. I'm gonna go get a couple hours sleep, and then I'll be up and at 'em and trailering this thing all the way up to Kennesaw. Whew. I don't know why I wait till the last possible second for everything, but it's kind of my motif at this point. So we got it done. That's what counts. Time for a car show in the morning. Yeah, buddy. Oh, I gotta break out the old window cranker 3000 and get this window rolled up. See if I can do this one-handed while I film. So if I stick this guy in there, oh, there we go. Beautiful. Handled. Now, can't forget my tool. That's got to go in the back of the truck. All right, time for a little sleep. I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, got like 2.5 hours sleep. It is entirely too early, but it is the morning of Caffeine and Octane, so got to get up and make it happen. So getting loaded up, and we'll be heading an hour north to Kennesaw here shortly. And unfortunately, we're leaving Moby behind because he does not behave very well at car shows, so you be a good boy. Time to hit the road. All right, made it over to the truck. Let's see how this thing fires up on this cold morning. Come on, play nice. Running like a top. Let's get the lights turned on where we can see. And now I need to wait for my dad to show up, and then we'll be hitting the road. He's always late. Always. All right, here we go. We are officially on the road, bound for Caffeine and Octane. My dad actually showed up on time for once. It's a miracle. And we got about an hour's drive north, and then we'll be hanging out at the show for a few hours. Got a low grade of gear. It does like to pop out of gear, so my dad's holding it in gear while I fill. Yeah, it's like grandpa gear. Grandpa gear? Yeah, you're not quite a grandpa yet. No, you need to work on that. Every parent ever says that to their kids, don't they? Anyway, let's hit the road. Well, there we go. We made it to Caffeine and Octane. This is our first time at the new location, so kind of curious to see how it is. I've been coming to Caffeine and Octane since they started it at the coffee shop, and then they moved to Perimeter Mall, and now they're here at Town Center Mall up in Kennesaw. So got the Javelin here on the trailer, service truck looking good, and we just got to figure out where they're gonna put us. Yeah, this is a big parking lot. So we got one of the show guys walking us to our spot. They want to show off our truck and trailer together, which is super cool. And that way people can see the whole setup. So I'm a fan of that for sure. So we're getting a nice prominent spot. Yep, I think it's safe to say we got ourselves a pretty good spot. They put us in the Caffeine and Octane feature section here at Town Center, and got a beautiful sunrise going on in the distance. Javelin's just sitting there looking killer on the trailer. We got the truck sitting here as well, and showing off some of the cool stuff that we got in the back. So detailing supplies, all the parts that came with the Javelin, miscellaneous little doodads. So kind of showing off our work truck as well as our race car here as a pair, which is cool. Normally it's hard to get in the featured section at all. We got in the featured section with a 45-foot long rig.
That's pretty wild.
So I'm kind of excited to show you guys around this show. I've never actually done a video on Caffeine and Octane, so it's a great show. It's been happening for a long time here in Atlanta. It's actually the world's largest monthly gathering of cars. So
it's huge.
It's gigantic.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be hanging out around the truck a good bit, but I am gonna show you around the show a little bit, do a little montage of some of the cool stuff.
And I guess so, like up north, they can't do year-round car shows.
Yeah, it's January.
Here in Georgia, it's January right now. Jacob's just wearing a shirt over a t-shirt, so that, you know, lends to us being able to do a year-round event.
Yeah, we're spoiled a little bit, but got the truck showing off our Interstate LS swap and all the Holly parts, so we're looking good out here. So it's gonna be a good day. It's a good day for a car. We're probably gonna end up pulling the hood off of this thing at some point, but for now we're just gonna roll down the driver's window. So for that, my dad needs the old window cranker 3000, as we call it. It's a pretty good little rig, a little PVC cap on a 1x2.
It's a giant connecting rod, actually.
Yeah, pretty much. Look at that. Works like a freaking charm.
I think I can.
There you go. I cleaned up the inside of the car just a little bit. That dash actually isn't attached to anything. Really? I was wiping it down and it fell off. It fell down. I was like, oh. We got our AMC coveralls in there. Looking good. There's your Racers for Christ stickers.
Amen.
So, looking good out here. Isn't that thing useful?
Yeah, it is.
It works really good. Well, there you go. There was a little walk around the show, some of the cool stuff that's here. It's been really awesome getting to show people the car as we found it before we actually build it into what we're gonna build it into. The time capsule that it is. This is its first show ever, definitely its first show in 40 years, but possibly it's the only show this car has ever been to. We don't know. Pretty sure it's the only show it's ever been to. Yeah. So kind of cool to be able to show it off, let people see it. We've been talking to people the whole time, and yeah, now that people have seen it in its current form, we're gonna get to tear it apart, fix it, make it run as is, and then go racing and see just how fast it'll go in its current form. My goal is to try to run 850s in this car because that's what the cage is going to be limited to before we tear it apart and make it a drag and drive car. But it's pretty cool seeing the taillights in it. Got the wheelie bar sitting there. Yeah, little time capsule of a drag car at a car show for the first time in 40 years. So awesome. Well, it's starting to rain here at Caffeine and Octane. This is the first time this car has seen rain in 4 decades, which is wild, but it was an awesome time out here at the show, getting to enjoy hanging out with people, telling the story on the car. And now we're gonna get loaded up and head home, but learned some cool things about some race cars from some really knowledgeable guys. This guy right here, Wilder Motorsports, I think he's actually gonna help us get this car ready to race because he built some really killer full chassis cars, and I need to learn about this race car stuff because I've never built a full-blown race car. But yeah, there we go. That's a successful day here at Caffeine and Octane. Now we just gotta head home, but I'm gonna wrap the video up here. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please remember to hit that subscribe button first and foremost. That helps us a ton. It allows us to get new partners on the channel and make even more cool content for you guys. So hit the subscribe button now, drop a like, let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you guys on the next one.